Yeah, what is going on, everybody? We are back with another episode of From My Experience podcast. I am your host, Rob, rolling solo today, but I do have an interview for y'all. You know how we start the show. I want to thank all of our listeners. What month is this? March already. It's March. I've actually got.
Today, April 1st.
Oh, it's April. Dang.
Today, April 1st. Today, April 1st.
April
Say
Fools,
that.
y'all. April
April
Fools.
1st.
Wow, it's April. Yeah, it's been a week. I'm on spring break, y'all. So forgive me. I've been resting and y'all injured my damn self. It's been a crazy week, but I'm good though. Shout out to our affiliates: Acre Gold, Retro Mimi, Black Water, Gardener's Garden, and last but definitely not least, Jot Forms. All of those links will be in the description for those of you who would like to sign up and try out those services and products. Please make sure you check them out. Today we have a very special guest. He took some time out to speak with me. He's a good brother, member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, a Nuke. And he is doing some phenomenal things. It's funny, what he's doing right now is something that has been in the back of my mind since I was younger, and I'm definitely gonna have to pick his brain about this to figure out how I can help or become a part of it. That'd be a great thing. I'd love to do. But ladies and gentlemen, we have the CEO of Evolve Sports, Mr. Devon Butler. Woo!
How you doing? Thank you. That was a great introduction.
Man, how are you, man?
Good. I'm surviving. I forgot to tell you if you ain't seen. I just had hip surgery a couple of days ago, so I'm out here on one leg. But
Oh
it don't
man.
stop my podcast though.
Yeah. Wow, I really appreciate you being here, man. Dang, man. What's going on
Yeah.
with your hip?
I mean, basically just from basketball. So like we'll get all of that into the interview. Basically, from playing in college, from high school all the way to now, just kind of taking a toll on me. And it was time for me to get stuff fixed, especially going into all the stuff that I'm doing. So
Okay.
just had to get myself right.
So let me talk to you about this is the first question I have for you. When did your passion for basketball or just sports in general, when did that start for you?
So basketball, so it actually didn't start till later. Honestly, I played baseball. So
Okay.
um, I played basketball and sports for fun, but I really was a real good baseball player up until around 10, 11 years old. I used to live in Louisiana, so I was playing baseball, football, pretty much all the sports or whatever. But I didn't really have necessarily a passion for basketball. I really liked it, but when I got to say around like sixth, seventh grade, that's when I actually got a passion for basketball. And I still played baseball, and I pretty much gave baseball up when I was 14.
Hmm.
And that's when I really, really took it seriously. So I had a short window to get real good in basketball because in baseball wise, I was good enough to play high level, but baseball was just boring to me.
Gotcha.
It really wasn't fun. I just was naturally good in it. Basketball, I loved it, but then I wasn't good in basketball. So I made a decision at 14 that I'm gonna go ahead and take basketball serious, and I had to catch up a lot because I didn't play AAU or none of that stuff until
Hmm.
late 14, which for basketball that's late. They start playing AAU basketball at 7 and 8 years old. So
Sheesh.
I was because I didn't start playing AAU till I got to high school.
Dang.
Baseball season is during AAU season in the spring. So
Okay.
it wasn't no AAU for me. So that's when I took it seriously. So the passion really came at basically like 2002, 2003. That's when I went all in and only played basketball and wanted to go to college.
You made me feel old just now. 2002, 2003. I was a senior in high school.
Oh, my
Uh,
bad.
wow. So against all odds, man. What are some of your fondest memories, or what are you like? You said you definitely had to catch up. What are some of the things that you remembered? I guess amongst your peers, and you was like, dang, I got to get my game up.
The thing that motivated me the most playing basketball, so at that time at 12, 13, 14, playing pickup, I didn't used to get picked up. Like, so
Mm.
say if we was playing 3-on-3 and it was 10 or 11 people, I would have to play the next game. Or if it was, six of us, I would be the last one picked. So,
Ah.
I wasn't as good as everybody else. And I used to hate that. So that motivated me to keep playing. And then when I finally got decent enough, I made the ninth grade team, but I didn't play. Like I was on the team, but I didn't really play.
Mm.
And so I hated that feeling, and that's when I just really, really took it serious. Where I spent hours and hours and hours working out. But like I never used to get picked up. unless I had to. I would always have to play the next game, and I didn't play ninth grade year. Really, I hardly played on JV.
Sheesh. So how did that transition work from high school to college?
Well, so at the first, obviously, I didn't play a lot in ninth grade. In one game, I actually got an opportunity. That's when I knew I could do it. Everybody was playing bad. We was playing this team called McNair High School, and everybody was playing bad the whole game. And he gave everybody opportunity. So he kind of we went to the locker room. He said, "All y'all just keep playing bad." He said, "I'm tired of all y'all. I'm just about to go ahead and play Devon." It was like a insult
Dang.
type thing. Like since y'all don't want to play hard, I'm just gonna play him. And so it was like I'm about to. So he let me start the second half, and I scored 12 points in like 4 minutes.
Mm.
And I got us back in the game and got us a league. And I played the whole third quarter and 2 minutes of the fourth, and we ended up taking a lead. And then when I sat down, he was like, "Come on, you about to keep playing." I couldn't even play no more because I was so out of breath or whatever. But that's when I knew I could. I had a chance. So then my sophomore year, I came back and I was the leading scorer in DeKalb County in JV. So I
Mm.
ended up playing JV again, but I was a leading scorer and I took the team to the championship, and we ended up losing.
Dang.
And so that's when I knew I started turning the corner, basically. Then because I averaged like 25 a game, and the year before I averaged two.
Sheesh.
Uh, so I went from 25 to two basically in one summer. And then after that, I ended up transferring to a better school called Dunwoody High School. And that's when I started getting the looks and stuff. So I did a complete turnaround in like a small 4 year span. I really only had 3 years to kind of get good enough to get a college scholarship, basically. So,
Sheesh.
yeah.
You was dead ass. Like
Yeah, it was a short turnaround, but I worked out so much because I hated getting picked up last and not playing. So I
such a
that's what I
highly
wanted to do.
competitive thing, man. Especially in the black community,
Well,
man. Sports
especially
in
at the guard
general.
position.
Yeah.
At my position, I'm not tall, so if you're tall, it kind of doesn't matter. You're always gonna have a chance when you're tall, but when you're 6 foot, it's kind of tough.
Shit. Mm. So what made you decide to come to Claflin University?
Well, so when I got what's like my mom was an AK, my dad is an Alpha, and so I already knew about the HBCU
Hmm.
experience. So I wanted to go to a HBCU. So I used to always go to camps at Southern University down in Baton Rouge, and then I used to actually go to the and we'll get in. I used to go to like the Pineywood camps, the Kappa camps they used to have in
Okay.
Mississippi. But I knew I wanted to go to an HBCU, but I still didn't have a bunch of looks in college at the time. I was because obviously I was a late bloomer,
Hmm.
and so I had like Livingstone, Johnson C. Smith, Clark Atlanta, those schools. And so I went up to Livingstone. They offered me a full scholarship. And then when I went to do the majors and stuff, they didn't have nothing I wanted to do. I wanted to do mass comm or something in graphics and media
Right.
and photography and all the stuff that you see me do now. They didn't have nothing like that. And I was like, man, I knew I wasn't that good, especially if you had a D2 level. Now you D1, you could kind of do that, but D2 level where I was at, you can't just go to college just to play basketball.
Right.
So the coach there, the assistant coach was real cool, and he said, man, I know some other options or whatever. He gave me a couple of options, but a family member of mine went to Claflin, Stephen Dow. So
Okay.
we went to well, Stephen.
Yeah.
So Stephen, we went to church together, and we went to middle school together. So he went to Claflin, and he was like, man, you might like it up here, but I was like, dude, I'm only going to places to play basketball, and I literally called my mom called Coach Woodard when Coach Woodard was there at the time, and Coach T she called them on the phone and said, "Hey, my son got this many looks and stuff like that, but we saw that you had his major and stuff. Would you be interested in taking a look at him?" They said, "Yeah, can you come tomorrow?" Yeah, I think I live in Atlanta. So we
Yeah.
literally got in the car, drove to Claflin. I know we drove 4 hours because it took 4 hours from where we live at to get to Claflin.
Yeah.
And so remember, this is Claflin. Remember, I don't have a school to go to. This is June. I didn't graduate from college for from high school for about a month already at this
Yeah.
point. So I had places I could have went like junior colleges and stuff like that. And Livingstone was still on the table. They never took it away from me, but I basically didn't want to go there. So I'll go all the way up to Claflin in June. Do you know how hot that it was in June? It was June 2008. Man, it was so hot and it was gnats everywhere. The gnats don't be like that now, but back then it was gnats everywhere. So we driving, and I'm like, bro, we in the sticks. You gotta
Yeah.
think I'm from the city. And we driving, and then we get there, and then all you hear is somebody blasting music or whatever, and you see this little man jump out this truck, and it's Coach Woodard.
Yep.
And Steven and everybody told me, they was like, don't wear the two earrings, all that stuff, tuck your shirt in, because Coach Woodard military style. I just got my ears pierced too. So I had to
Oh,
take, yeah, so I had to take my earrings out. Luckily, I got somebody to get them back open or whatever. I had to take my earrings out because you can only wear one earring around him, and I had to drive 4 hours to get there. I walked around the whole campus in the middle of the summer, so I'm
drenched.
drenched in sweat. Yes, and then I go to the gym, and then I got to work out for Coach T for an hour by myself, full court.
Oh man.
And he just sitting in the stands with my mom, and they talking the whole time. And after I completed the workout, he brought me to the office, and he said he liked what he seen. He offered me a scholarship right then and there. And
Wow.
that's how I got to Claflin. Wasn't playing nothing over there. I literally took a leap of faith, drove up there, and worked out. So you got to remember, if I would have had a bad workout, I wouldn't have got a scholarship offered to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had a good workout, and he liked the workout, and he felt like if I could work out good, and if I had scholarships from these other schools,
Mhm.
that like in the CIAA, I could play at Claflin. So um,
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man.
yeah, so
Hey,
yeah.
no, I was gonna say, man. Everybody that's listening, that's why when you dedicate yourself to something, anything is possible, y'all. Like anything is
But
possible. This dude start like sports is one of the hardest things to get into, especially when you start late. Any
you
sport.
start like yeah, it's
So,
hard.
damn. So, you are one of the what's the word I'm looking for? Like you're just an entrepreneur through and through. You
Yeah, so
you
I've
and
never
one
had a
of
job before.
you've never had a job ever?
No, I've never had a job. I've never had a job, man.
I'm the opposite. I've had like 30. Yo.
No, I've never had a job. Like I
So
couldn't even tell you how it is to apply for one. I've never even applied. I applied for a job before, but I've never accepted a job because I've always just worked for myself.
what was that like, man? What are some of the things that you've done before you got to the level that you are at now, which you're going to get into next? What are some of the what did you used to do?
Well, so the first actual job, if you say I did take a job, so the sophomore year at Claflin, um, they had an internships, and they always be having internships for them, and they had an internship for the Department of Defense in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania.
Oh wow.
But the people who was going to take it didn't accept it. But at Claflin, it's more like a family, and they make sure I have financial aid and stuff because I was on a full scholarship. It was pieced together,
Hmm.
basically. And they called me. They was like, it didn't have nothing to do with my major, nothing like that. They was like, they don't want to lose the relationship with the government and these internships they have because everybody pulled out. They was like, are you willing to go? And I remember during the summer, I'm training the whole summer every day, all day to get ready for the season.
Yeah.
Uh, so and then they called me or whatever, and since people at Claflin did so much for me and helped made sure I had financial aid to meet the difference of my basketball scholarship, I went ahead and went. So it was all paid for. I was making $2,000 every. I was making $4,000 a month up there. They was literally paying
Woo.
me $1,000 a week, and they gave me housing.
Oh man. And you got to be in
Yeah,
Philly.
yeah. So I was in like Hershey, Pennsylvania, so it wasn't far though.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Hershey. So I was working for Department of Defense, DLA, Defense Logistics Agency. So they basically how they move the tanks and stuff around, all the logistics in the Army and the
Oh.
military. So I worked in the command center. So I worked in the head command center and stuff for the captains and the generals and stuff. So I would transfer their calls and do that
Wow.
would pay basically nothing had to do with my major, but the relationship with people at Claflin or whatever, they needed it that to be filled because when the stuff like that don't get taken, the school lose that relationship.
Yeah, yeah, they go somewhere else.
They
Thank
go
you for
somewhere
taking
else.
that
Yeah,
up, man. Because now that means someone that's there now is probably getting that same opportunity because of you.
Eh, exactly. Yeah, so that's why I looked at it like that. So they gave me a house out there. The only thing I had to do on my own was get up there and provide furniture for the house 'cause it was like on a military base.
Dang,
That's yeah, but they literally paid me $1,000 a week
you got in trouble
while I
while
was
you
there.
was up there.
Nah, there was no black people up there. You gotta think I was in Hershey, Pennsylvania. So like if I, I
Yeah.
I would drive like to New York, a lot of people from Claflin from New York and
Oh
DC.
yeah.
So I would drive down to DC and hang with everybody from Claflin or drive to New York every weekend. So it's 2 hours up to New York, 2 hours down to DC, an hour to Philly. So it was enough Claflin people that I was hitting up or wherever to go to either DC or New York every weekend. So like Friday evening, I was out.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you lived it up that summer, man. That's
Yeah.
some of
So
the best
and I
life you could
had money
have.
in my pocket. Come on, man.
Oh yeah, especially up
Yes.
here, yeah, because that's where I'm at now. So if COVID will hurry up and disappear, I can. I'm getting older now, but I got some youth left in me to get in these streets. But
Right. Yeah.
um,
So that's what I did. So that's the only job I ever did. So that if people want to know actual job that I actually have, that's the first and only and ever job where I actually worked. And I
wow.
did an 8 hour day, 5 days a week. And from that moment on, when I did that, I knew I never wanted to have a job again. That's when I made the decision, honestly.
Dang. All right. So after you graduated, how'd you transition into playing overseas? I saw that in your questionnaire, and I've always been curious about that. Somebody I went to middle school with actually ended up playing overseas. So
Well, so so transition to play overseas. I mean, I could backtrack. So junior year, this is after I did the internship. I ended up changing my major because mass comm. I mean, I learned everything I felt like I could learn from there. The only thing I had left, I had like 20 hours left. The only thing left was like the internship and something else, which is like it's not a lot. So I remember this is 2010, 2011. I only had one more year left of school.
mhm.
So I saw the world changing. I saw what was happening with smartphones and graphics and all that stuff. So I switched my major to become an art major. That's how I learned how to do everything. So I figured if I learned everything in mass comm, technically I didn't did a degree in mass comm, and I did an extra year of school and learned everything in art. That meant I technically learned every like media skill out there. I could write, I could do journalism, I could do public speaking, I could
True.
record, I could edit, I could do sound, I could do graphics, photography. I literally know how to do every single aspect. So that's how I was able to build my business.
Nice.
So I said that extra school was going to be worth it because I had an extra year of basketball anyway. So I said I might as well do an extra year of school. So I started my company, DAB Productions, and I went out to since I did an extra year of school, I wasn't graduating with none of my friends no more who played basketball. So all my friends was in Vegas. You know how they do like the Vegas Summer League and stuff.
Yeah.
So they have the Vegas Summer League for people who are just trying to go overseas. They got the stuff that's on TV, then they got the stuff that's not on TV.
Okay.
It's like a bunch of camps to go like to different countries depending on what agent is throwing it. So all my friends was out there in Vegas, and I'm sitting at home in the summer just at my mom's house. And I'm like, man, let me go ahead and go out there to Vegas and go ahead and network. I'm gonna graduate in a year or two anyway.
Yeah.
And I brought my camera. And so when I went to the
Nice.
camp, there was nobody. Listen, there was nobody at the camp that was filming the game. So these players are trying to go overseas and trying to perform for these agents and coaches, and nobody was filming the games. And so one agent came up to me. He was like, "Hey man, can you film my player game?" I said, "Sure." I started filming it. And then the camp director, I ended up introducing myself to the camp director, and I said, "Listen, I could come here and film the games or whatever, so you could offer filming to your all the people because it was like 100 people at the camp, and they wasn't getting no film."
Right.
Uh, well, no. So let me backtrack. I started passing out cards to everybody, like saying, "Hey, I'm filming these games on this court. You could pay $50 for them." Or whatever. Yeah, so that's what.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah, so I said because I said I went out to Vegas with no money. I said, shit, let me make my money up for the trip. So
Yeah.
everybody started buying, and then I gave the director my card. I said, man, I could film your whole camp, and we could offer it as a package and stuff, and I could sell the films and stuff like that, and I get people off your back. And you know what he did? He put my card in his pocket. He said, all right, and then he just walked off. I was staying in Bally's Hotel at the time,
Mm,
and I went back. I played a little bit of blackjack. I didn't have much money,
mm.
so my goal was to always win a meal. If I could make $20, $40 on the table and get a free meal, I would. So I did that, and I went to sleep because I was tired. I only been there for a day.
Yeah.
I woke up at like 4 or 5 in the morning because remember I'm on East Coast time. I had like 40 missed calls
Dang.
because from all the eight, like you remember I passed my cards out to everybody.
They want
So
the
I
film?
had they like, man, can we get the film? Well, they wanted me to come back the next day. So they
Mm-hmm.
only played one game that day and they played like three the next day. So
Mm-hmm.
like, man, can you come back and film my games? Can you film my players' game? And I went through all the voicemail and I eventually stopped listening to them or looking at the text because I had so many. And I said, let me click on one more. And the last voicemail I clicked to was the director of it. And he said, hey, He said, "Hey man, I'm sorry for blowing you off yesterday. Can you come back to the gym and we make a deal so you can film my camp because everybody's complaining that we don't have film."
This guy.
This how I started my company. Basically, I didn't even have I didn't even have a name. You know what the name was?
What?
DAB Productions, just my initials. Because I didn't have.
That works.
Yeah, so that's how I made my company DAB Productions. So they asked me for a name. What's the name of your company? I couldn't think of nothing. I went blank and I just said DAB Production and Entertainment. It was just my initials.
Oh man. What a way to start a company.
And that's not even the end of it. So now I'm in the gym. So remember, it's a camp, Rob. They said he asked, "Can you film 2 courts?" I'm by myself.
Oh
How am I supposed to film 2 courts? The first game started at 10. I get there like at 9:45, and I said I don't want to lose this opportunity. So remember, this is 2012.
yeah.
So remember, ain't no Uber or nothing like that yet. You
Nothing.
can't get on your phone and get an Uber like that. So you remember, you still got to you taxi heavy, especially back then.
Yeah.
So I had to go outside. Remember, it's UNLV now. It's Claflin times 20 hot. So I had to go outside. It ain't the same. They make Claflin feel like Antarctica out there. You know what they just said.
Yeah.
So I had to flag down. So I was sitting there and I had to think fast. I said, "Give me a second." I walked out and I called my mom. I said, "Mom, I don't know what to do." She was like, "Boy, you need to go to Best Buy." She said she looked up a Best Buy. People don't understand how far the internet was. It still wasn't how it was
Yeah.
now. She said, "Where are you at?" I told her where I was at. She had to go on the physical computer and look up. You remember location services
Yeah.
wasn't out back then. So
MapQuest.
she had to do that to see where I was at to find a Best Buy. She said, "If you get a taxi, it's gonna cost you like $20." She said, "You need to go to Best Buy and you can apply for what's called a Best Buy credit card, and you need to buy another camera and buy another tripod." And then I said, "Well, I don't have the money." She said, "Because you're gonna put it on the credit card and you're gonna take that shit back or whatever."
Smart.
So I flagged the taxi down and I gave the dude an extra $10. I said, "Bro, just wait here for me." I went and got a Best Buy credit card. I maxed it out, got everything I needed. Went back to the gym. They had a mezzanine area, like a track, and I put both cameras at the top where they were arm length apart, and I could kind of get the whole court, and I filmed the whole camp from the top or whatever by myself.
Damn.
And then that's how and then I put all the game film on my computer, put the camera and stuff back in the box, and took that shit back. And then that's how I started my company. So Best Buy, thank you.
Thank you, Best Buy. Great customer service.
Great customer service. They was like, "Why you return?" I said, "That doesn't matter. Return policy, you got 30 days." I put everything back.
Yo, that's what I call hustling,
Yeah, and that's how I started my company. And then to this day, the agent, he's like a big brother for me. He's the one who helped me get my start overseas because he was an agent running camps. And so from that point, I did all of his camps. So I was making $1,000 to $2,000 for every camp he was doing. He was flying me out, paying for the hotel, and I was getting paid. And then that's how I started my brand. And then he the one who helped me get overseas and stuff on top of that, because on top of me filming his camps, when it was time for me to go overseas, I was close with him. So, he helped me put me in those positions.
Nice. So what was that like playing overseas?
So like the first place I went to, and it wasn't actually through my agent, it was one other person. The first place I went to, well, it was through him. I went to Spain. I went to Madrid, to Fuenlabrada. And so it was different. I wasn't ready. Because remember, at this point now, I've only played 6 years of high-level basketball because I had to play JV my first 2 years because I had to catch up and then get real good. And I played varsity for 2 years, and then the 4 years at Claflin and at Southern Poly when I transferred. So I haven't been playing high-level basketball that long, so I wasn't ready for that level when I first went overseas. It was just different. I just wasn't there yet.
Okay.
And then obviously remember the phones and everything wasn't like that, so you really didn't have a phone plan like that. They were too expensive back then. You had to do everything off Wi-Fi. They didn't have a bunch of streaming stuff back then, so it was a little hard. It was harder. Remember, this is 2013.
Yeah.
So it's not like you couldn't. I don't remember if Netflix was out.
No. Well,
yeah.
maybe.
Like it was out, but you wasn't streaming like that yet.
Yeah.
Like you had different sites and stuff you could go to, but like I couldn't watch a basketball game from back. Like it was just different. I ain't trying to sound old, but it just was not the same. You couldn't call
You making me
like
feel real old because I
I,
know the struggle. I was
yeah,
teaching this whole time you're doing all this. I'm literally teaching kids.
yeah. You back then you couldn't call like to call people back then. You had to download apps, so you had to get like a calling card,
Yeah.
like to call back home. Like it was too expensive to call back home. There wasn't no like the iPhone didn't have the blue bubble yet. There wasn't no FaceTime audio. Yeah, I've done that stuff.
None of it.
Not back then, yeah. So it was like if you want to use your cell service, like in another country, this shit was expensive. It's not like how
Super.
it is now, where it's cheap.
Yeah.
When you paying $10 or $5 for the damn day,
Yeah.
and apps wasn't like that yet. So it was kind of rough. And then as the years went on, it got a little better. But even when I went to Australia, they didn't have Uber down there because remember when Uber finally started and Lyft, it still wasn't global yet.
Mm-hmm.
So getting around was hard back then. You had to ride trains and taxis and stuff, but it wasn't. It just was hard. It
What
was a
was your
little hard
favorite
back then.
place?
Australia, and that's where I continue to go to this day. I go back and forth to Australia, and hopefully, once my hip heal and I have my second surgery, I'm gonna go back to Australia. So Australia is the only place where you can live and play to me, because it's Americanized. So it's just like being like in LA, basically.
Oh, word.
So yeah, so it's English speaking, nice weather, no language barrier, no culture barrier. It's a beautiful place, and all the cities are coastal. The people are nice, so and the basketball is still good level where you can have a life and still play basketball. People understand when you go to Europe, your life is basketball. You
Right.
practicing 1 or 2 times. In Australia, it's more of a living thing where you practicing 2, 3 times a week, maybe four.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of players have jobs, and the travel is either Europe. That's all you're doing. So I've always loved Australia more because it's more of like playing in the States, and you can get a job if you want to during the day and stuff. You
More of a
train the kids
balance.
there. Yeah, it's more of a balance. In Europe, it's a job.
Hmm.
And so for me, with me doing all my company stuff, Europe really doesn't fit me, especially at this stage in my life, because I don't want to just wake up, have to go to the gym, basically like college.
Yeah.
I want to be able, if I want to go to the mall, go to the movies, go to practice at 8, then not have practice the next day. I just work out on my own. That's how Australia is. And you play on the weekends.
Dope. 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 Never been
Right.
to Australia. I gotta put that on my list.
Right.
So let's talk about Evolve Sports.
Well,
Where? What? Okay. So you told us how it started, basically.
well, so yeah, how I got into that. So like I said, I started DAB Productions
Mm-hmm.
first. That was just a production company. So then eventually DAB, I still have that as a company, but that's what turned into Evolve basically.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been running DAB at that point since 2012, and it was just mainly filming basketball games. So I came back from Norway in like 2017. So now 2016, yeah, 2016 going into 2017, I got cut. So I was in Estonia, then went to Norway and got cut. And it's like now, you're 26, 27. If you're getting cut or don't have money, it's like, all right, you got to start being realistic. Or do you want to keep staying at your mom's house and
Right.
doing all this stuff? So I had to make decisions. And I said, well, maybe I could get into basketball training and stuff. So I started training kids with one of the guys who helped put the basketball in my hand. But he couldn't really train because he was older, but he had all the connections to get kids to the gym. And we
Right.
worked on, and we did it 50-50. We would split it. But obviously, the small problem with that is obviously I would be spending 2 hours training. He would be getting all the people, but his health started deteriorating. So he couldn't come to the gym and stuff no more. So I was like, man, I need to find a way to make this a company so I can have stuff in me just do on the computer and help me and stuff like
Yep.
that. And so that's when I decided I need to. I saw the struggle that kids were having to get to college, like I did, which it was a struggle for me, but it was an adventure. And I said, well, I could make an app. Yeah, I remember apps still wasn't like that, like that.
Right.
I said I could make an app where kids could get all these workouts that I'd be doing in the gym every day. They could get it on their phone.
Right.
At this time, remember there was no basketball apps. Now I have a whole bunch of copycatters. If you look up basketball apps, it's a bunch of them now. But
Yeah.
look up when the first basketball apps came about. There was no other basketball apps. It was one basketball app and it was terrible. So
Hmm.
I said I wanted to make an app like the Home Depot model, right?
Mm-hmm.
Home Depot don't specialize in nothing, but they have everything you need, and it could get
True.
everything you need. So I wanted to have a training app that had weights, nutrition, basketball training videos, all that stuff. And then
Nice.
that's how I started. And then so that's how I started. I had a friend who knew some app developers in Pakistan, and I was able to create the graphics. Yeah, so I got my app developed by Pakistani developers, and that's how I pretty much created the Evolve app, and I launched that in spring of 2017.
What was that like for you after you launched it?
It was nerve wracking because so launching the app, like man, I had like 50,000, like 20, 30,000 people who pre-subscribed to the app because they
Woo!
was anticipating. Because you remember I was promoting on social media and nobody like had never seen an app or anything like that before.
Yeah.
And so on the first day, like my app crashed. I had people that downloaded it too early because I put it in the app store and people was anticipating it so bad, so they was downloading it before it should have been downloaded. The first hour, we made like $4,000. And crazy thing is, bro, I was disappointed because I had like 30,000 people who pre-signed up.
Right.
And what I should have did when the app, since my market was kids, I had people that pre-signed up, meaning they saw a promotion, they put their email, they put their email and their age and stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
should have made the app like 99 cents or did like a mass free trial, but I didn't know what I didn't know back then.
Right.
So it was like $4.99 back then for a monthly subscription. I should have did like a like Apple and them do it now, and they learn too. You do like a 2-3 month free trial, you can get everybody to sign up. Remember, this
Exactly.
is 2016, 17.
New.
People
New
wasn't
to the
doing
game.
that yet. Right. So if I would have did that, I would have had millions on it, but that's neither here nor there. But and it crashed because I had so many people. I didn't know nothing about server space. I was using this thing called Digital Ocean,
Mm-hmm.
which I should have been using like an Amazon server where it can expand and fluctuate. I was paying for a server where you pay $200, but when it get full, it get full.
Sheesh.
So like I didn't know. So I fixed all those problems, but I was running out of money, and I was training kids and stuff, and I started watching Shark Tank a lot,
Uh
and
oh.
I was like, yeah, and I was like, man, I said I could bring on angel investors and raise venture capital money for it, and that's when I was able to bring on my first angel investors, and then I started going to pitch competitions.
Nice.
So I went to pitch competitions like in Philly. I went to multiple pitch competitions, different where I pitched it to investors and stuff, and I started learning about investing. I went to Silicon Valley. I went to all these different places, and um, and then I started learning, more about the business side of making a company. And then I said, well, I need to go to an accelerator program. So they have, you have accelerator programs like Y Combinator and TechStars and all those different
Never heard
accelerator
of them.
programs.
What are
Okay,
those?
so accelerator programs is where you go for like 3-4 months and you learn. You have classes pretty much every day, like going to
Okay.
school, and they bring in investors and mentors and other business owners and stuff. And then you do all this to get ready for a demo day, like Shark Tank, and then you pitch to investors. And then you pretty much sell your company for shares basically. So you might pitch for $1 million at 10%. So they teach you how to raise money. And
Mm-hmm.
so the program gives you money. Say like TechStars is one of the major ones. They give you $100,000 for like 10%, and then they get the right the first refusal where they could put more money into the company, and then they introduce you to all these investors. So you're giving up
Nice.
equity, and they giving you money because they're putting you in this program. So they're giving you all these perks. Like you literally waking up, you going to class every day. They teaching you how to make a pitch deck, how to make a business plan. They bringing investors to you. They teaching you how to
Nice.
pitch. So that's why you're giving up the equity. And then the last day, they bring say 100 investors, and you go on stage and you pitch to them like Shark Tank. Except for they don't. It's not a bidding war like right then and there. When you get off the stage, then you start organizing your one-on-one meetings and stuff. So Shark Tank
Dang.
is it's just like Shark Tank, but Shark Tank only show you the first part. So they just imagine if you had to prepare for Shark Tank for 3-4 months, and then you don't make a decision that fast like on camera. That's what it is,
And how
basically.
old were you at this point?
27.
Bro, you're mature as
27,
shit
yeah.
for your age.
Well, so that's not even the thing. That's not even a thing. I didn't get accepted to none of the big accelerators in the States. I got accepted to an accelerator program in Germany.
Wow.
So I had to go to Berlin, pay all my own expenses, use all my own money or whatever, and go there to Berlin for 3 months to get into a program because I believed in the company
Dang.
so bad. So I got into the lead accelerator program through the Adidas family. So the
Mm.
Adidas family started a program for sports and innovation. So I saw it online, and I was the only American company that got accepted. There was 1,500 companies that
Woo.
applied, and they only accepted 12, and
Dang.
it's only 6 of the companies, including ours, got money after the program was over.
Bruh, hold on. I gotta take all. Yeah, I gotta let the audience
Yeah,
take that in.
yeah.
Yo, you writing
I'll
a?
send you a
Please tell
chart.
me you're writing a book.
Nah, man. This really the first time I've ever regurgitated all of this. What happened in the last 4 years?
You gotta write it, bruh. This is unreal. I'm embarrassed to say what I was doing at 27. Like it
Yeah, I
wasn't
was in
this.
Germany, so I gave up my basketball career and went there. And the crazy thing is, when I went there, I ended up getting on the team while I was out there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I ended up finding a team, and I tried out for the team, and I would be at class all day. So you would go to the accelerator program from like 8 to 4, 8 to 5, depending if you have to do stuff in the afternoon. And I would get on the train and ride on the train for like 30, 40 minutes to this town far as hell outside of Berlin and go to practice. Get out of practice like at 10, get back home like around 11 ish, and then get back up early in the morning the next day.
This is your story is you need to write a book. You have to
Hey,
write a book. You have to. Like other young black men need to see this. And I love the fact that you traveled so much and you weren't afraid to leave.
no, I
So
wasn't afraid to leave. I took the risk. And any money I saved up, remember, to go to Berlin, I had to get my own flight. I had to find my own place to live. And then I had my two co-founders, so I had to make sure they still had money and stuff. So I brought them two with me.
yo, kudos to you, man. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. You know what? I'm gonna take a step back because I feel like I need to do a part two with you. So I'm
Yeah, because I ain't gonna lie, I'm not even halfway through. I think I'm 39. There's so much that happened from then to now. So we could do a part two.
we're gonna definitely do a part two. But before we do that, where are you at today with the company? What is happening with the company today?
So I'm building a new app right now. That's why I said we just got to do a part two, and I'm gonna break down what we're gonna talk about in the part two. So I'm not gonna elaborate too much, but right now I'm building a new app, basically because after COVID,
Mm-hmm.
every trainer and every kind of training company they're making online training stuff. So I figured instead of Evolve, which was me and a couple of my guys, I need to make the platform for the trainers. So
Ah,
instead of me competing with all these trainers across the world, I said, why don't I just make the YouTube for them where they use my platform and I take a small percentage of what they make on subscriptions and sales and stuff. And I don't
nice.
have to compete with them no more. So that's what I'm doing now with the
Smart.
company. That's on the digital side. And on the physical side, I'm building a warehouse right now. Well, I'm renovating a warehouse and turning it into a workout facility. And then I'm building a 16,000 square foot sports complex in Tucker, Georgia right now also.
A sports complex.
Right, yeah.
When? How did you? Well, I guess. So I guess at the end, well, not the end. You're still at the beginning stages of part of your journey. Where did that? How did that vision come to light?
About like having my own place.
Yeah.
I mean, uh, I mean, shit. I mean, all these other trainers and companies and stuff. I mean, it really mainly started at COVID. Honestly, if COVID wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't have did it. So
Hmm.
when COVID happened, like a lot of revenue stopped. So we made a lot of money training in the gyms and stuff, but you can't make money training in the gyms if you lose access to all your gyms.
Yeah.
So like we lost access to the high schools, and only people who was able to train were people who had connections to that private gyms. And I said I'd never let nothing stop me from making money ever again, ever. And so so I had money saved or whatever, and I said, "What's the thing that doesn't lose value?" And that's land. So
Facts.
I knew people was going through crisis and was trying to sell stuff. So I found some land that was in a good spot right off the highway, and then I was just looking for land all over the city in the middle of COVID, and I was able to get a good deal on some land. I used pretty much all the money I had or whatever, and I bought the land cash.
Dang. And here we are today. So,
Yeah,
I,
so I've been sitting on the land now for I bought it in like September, October.
mm-hmm.
So I'm not sitting on it. Obviously, I've been developing it, but yeah, I haven't built on it yet. But yeah, I've had the land since like September, October, and it's already run up in value like by 50,000 since I bought it.
Woo. So share your vision with the audience of what you're trying to do, man. Because I like
But
what you put, but I want in your questionnaire, but I want you to express that to the people.
right, so I want to have a place. So right now, I'm actually building a warehouse right now. So the thing that I didn't know, because out of all the stuff I did, I ain't never been in construction before. I had to learn all that stuff. The build actual building from the ground up takes a lot. You have to do soil samples, grounding, electrical, all that stuff. You have to get a big loan for all that stuff. But right now, I'm building a warehouse. So the goal is to open 4 warehouses in the city of Georgia, and the warehouses are basically mini half courts.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, you could, you could have 4 or 5 kids per court, and then we have a small workout station in the back with weights. So those are going to be. I'm opening my first one in the Shamley Buckhead area in like a month or so. Then I'm gonna open one on the west side of town, the south side of town, and the north side of town on 85. And so once I open once I open that one, that'll be my 4 warehouses, and I have my one big gym. So
Yo.
that's what I'm doing right now. So and then my next goal was to open one in the Carolinas area. So I was gonna do the same format. Basically, the model that I have is like the Chick-fil-A model. So a trainer, like in Chick-fil-A, they don't just do like the McDonald's models, basically. So you have to be working in that place to
Mm-hmm.
become a manager and the owner of it. So anybody you see who owns and manages Chick-fil-A, they work there first. So
Gotcha.
that's the same thing with the trainer. So say if you want to own one of your gyms, you have to train at one of my gyms first, then become a GM, then you're able to become a owner once we open up another one and
I,
put money up. So that's the model that I have with them.
yo, talk about giving back to the community.
Well,
That you are like the modern day playground, man. Like that's so dope. That's just so dope to think about, man. And it's coming to fruition. Wow. My mind is blown. I wasn't expecting half of the stuff we've talked about, man. And your
uh,
journey is amazing. I feel like I ain't working hard enough now.
man, I mean, I try to work it, and I couldn't even type all this stuff because I just took my medicine. People understand. I just had literally arthroscopic hip surgery with 4 incisions in my hip, so I'm like on heavy oxycodone and other medicines and stuff. So that's why like I couldn't even type like that. I was going in and out at that time, but
Nah, you you
uh,
you did a great job. You gave me
yeah,
what I needed, man.
yeah.
And with that, I'm gonna let you go because you're
Uh,
recovering and things of that
right.
nature. But anything else you want to say to the people? Anything else you want to promote? Shout out. Please let them know, and I'll also put it in the description below.
No, I mean the Evolve Basketball app. That's the Instagram page. So just at Evolve Basketball app, and that's where all our everything is Evolve Basketball app. You can find everything from there. And we're gonna do a part 2. Like I said, I'm gonna send Rob some more details about stuff because I didn't even get into telling you how I got a lot of this money, how I sold the company, with the intellectual property to a company in China. So I didn't even
What?
get into that stuff. Yes, right. Yes, that's how you get the real money. You got to get a licensing deal in China. So
Not this guy. You
yeah,
we definitely need to
yeah, we got a
continue to
part
chop it
two.
up.
Yeah,
For sure, man.
yeah,
But Brother Butler, thank you again for joining us. Thank you for taking time out, man. I really, really, really appreciate it, and thank you for just sharing that story, man. You know, here on my podcast, we like to talk about things that are happening in our lives, and I like to have guests like you on to share their journey because there's a little boy or a little girl out there that may hear this, or someone in their early 20s or even in their late 40s who may be dreaming or thinking about something and think it's not possible. Then they can hear this story and be inspired, man. You inspire me, man. I'm not working hard enough. I got stuff to do tomorrow. I'm really thinking about it now. You like some of the stuff you've done so far, people haven't even come close to touching in a lifetime, man. So what you're doing is amazing, and I'm gonna say it again. You need to write a book.
you're right. I need to. You gave me the inspiration for that. But like I said, I do want to. You schedule that part 2 next week or next month or whatever. I got you covered.
I will do that. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us. And y'all know you can follow us, FME_podcast, on Instagram, From My Experience Podcast on Facebook. And you can follow me personally, complete_vision. Jessica, you can follow my co host. She's not here, but that's all good. Her information will also be in the description below. And until next time, y'all take care of yourselves physically, mentally, financially, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.